Rexy that our show will start late since 2020. You're listening to Radio Redux.
I've gotten used to it. You know, how long has it been since Radio Redux started airing again after its long hiatus anyway? Has it been just over a year? I remember a string of Winterfest specials since episode 200 or so. Yeah, probably that. I can't remember airing any pre-recorded episodes before the entire world had to share of some crazy global viral strain or whatever. But it is what it is. It's nice to have some company before I go online for the week, and I'm thankful to have some refreshing banter to help realign my mind. I guess it's like what I said a few weeks ago on Sega Mixer Drive. Everything is better when you're near someone. Anyway, let me see what pre-recorded episode I'm airing tonight. Where's my notes? Wait a minute. It's the Summer Shakeup? Kevin stood in for Sheffield Blaze last night? Sega Mixer Drive already happened and had a DJ set? I'm doing a live Radio Redux this week? Oh my goodness. Wait, what? Oi! Don't you dare roll the titles yet, you little fuck! with Door into Chaotix from Willock, arranging Door into Summer. Very appropriate, I would say, because apparently this is the longest day of the southern year. Wow, I wonder where the sunset would be tonight. I really should actually look up the actual time for that. But, yeah, welcome to Radio Redux this evening. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure how we actually got to number 224 in the space of, 4 years since 220, but it is what it is. And it also feels weird seeing a number way lower than the number of episodes Sega Mix Drive currently has, so that's something else. But yes, I'm Rexy. I'm hosting the show tonight. I'm usually here on a Sunday night anyway, hosting something completely different, but I will still end up bringing in my sodding remix flares anyway, like I ended up saying in the chat, the Discord, and all of that. I'll end up getting that to you guys just a little bit later on. So, what's been going on with me these past couple of weeks? Well, it has been a couple of weeks since I last aired something, which was a regular show for Sega Mix Drive, but obviously within that time frame, E3 happened. And that's something I would end up liking to touch upon for this week's show, because it's a big event for anyone to end up keeping an eye on and seeing what they could fit inside their stockings for the entire Christmas. And I guess we can end up taking quite a few caveats away from it. However, there have been a couple of main flaws with me keeping up with it. So, yeah, first of all, I had spent E3 week away from decent internet down in the wrong scone-eating county that is Cornwall. Yeah, cabin internet, good on that. And there's also another main reason as well. I'm getting increasingly distanced with current trends to the point that I feel like I'm living in a completely different decade. Where's the newest technology from Sega or Atari? Why hasn't Intellivision actually gone out of business yet? And more to the point, when's Driver 4 actually getting released, Atari? Give me that! Huh, you're telling me. But, it is what it is. Anyway, quite a few people hanging around in the Discord this evening while I ended up making my way around there. First of all, we're already in that kind of territory where Nicholas and Man skipped a few minutes just to use the toilet. Good on you. Do they flush the other way in South Africa? I'm kind of curious about that. But yeah, and of course, I also made a big mistake live right in the ahead of me, and that is completely forgetting to update my metadata. So if you're listening live, you're apparently listening to Sega Mix Drive, and I will probably do a joke saying, it's Friday night, it's gone past 9 PM, and then end up mixing up the day, but it's not meant to be like that this time around, I'm afraid. Anyway, who is actually in the Discord this evening? Unlike the last time when Kevin ended up airing live and read down everybody who was in the Discord, including those who are completely offline, I will just end up going on to see who is actually active. So, yeah, first of all, thank you very much to Gabby, of all people, for hosting Voice of Sega this afternoon, with his ridiculous off-the-wall selection of vocal stuff, so we got all that. But in the active in the Radio Sega Discord this time around, I see Spurg, I see Mr. Renato, Green Viper 820, Jamie 64326, Nicholas Aman, and good old Kevin himself. Looks like I really have to step up my game. Apparently I'm already docked points for even trying to roll the titles as it is. So, yeah, that's a thing. But if you want to enjoy everything that's going on right here and now in the Discord, we're over at radiose.ga/Discord. And we're also in the Twitter feed. That is twitter.com/RadioSEGA. So, we definitely have quite a bit on our plates right here today, I'll give you that. Yeah, Mr. Vanat was also saying, in the meantime, LMC car shenanigans are on the tabletop. And yes, Kevin did indeed say that is next. Yes, yeah, we've got all that going on. The LMC Radio Sega Shakeup going on right there. That'll happen right after me, so be on the watch out for that. Jimmy is saying, who's this Jamie 64326? Blame the rhythm bot? Blame the rundown bot for picking up your actual username rather than your nickname in the chat. Try to change it if you feel like you can do that. Yeah, Jamie's ancestor, says Nicholas. Oh man, now all of a sudden I'm trying to imagine Jamie with this ridiculous neck beard trying to tune into the show with this bushed up hair. That's something like that. Anyway, okay, so it only makes a lot of sense before I end up going into a lot more major discussion that I would go into a couple of tracks of music to start off with. So, yeah, I ended up picking one of these because obviously it would relate to a little bit of the stuff I'd like to discuss, which is a little bit of E3. But on top of that, I also ended up picking out a very, very appropriate track to not only sum up E3 as it actually happened, but also pretty much my entire week down in Cornwall. And the third thing, my passion for all things Crash Bandicoot. Don't ignore it. Picked out a track right there from the Pixel Mix's Insane Jam album covering all things Crash. So yeah, take it away, Haschel. Road to Ruin.
For 15 years, bringing you the best in video game music. This is Radio Redux.
what an outro, and ended up giving you that right there. But yes, we ended up transitioning out of that with Ocean's Andrew giving us Ten About Sisters 2001, giving that sweet arrangement right there. Holiday with Mia Fey, a Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney arrangement on All C Remix, so go ahead and check that out over there. So yeah, apparently I was speaking with Jamie in the Discord about this, and he ended up saying this has more to do with Maya than Mia, simply because of its usage throughout the game. So yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Owe knew very little about the game when he ended up making the arrangement to begin with. So that would end up explaining the direction right there. He didn't even know exactly what happened to Mia within the first 15 minutes of it. So yeah, there's that too. But yeah, let's actually, I mean, we actually went off on a bit of a tangent there, but there is a very good reason why I decided to put in some Ace Attorney in the set list tonight. First of all, yeah, E3, that's going to be like our main topic for this evening. So people in the chat, you actually have seen a lot more of the event than I had live, because reasons. So I'm encouraging you to end up mentioning what ended up catching your attention the most during the event. So you can do that either by mentioning it out here in the open, in the Discord, so that's radiosega.ga/Discord, or go ahead and send me a PM as well, so you've got that as well. This let me see. This teaches remixers to really look into their sources. It kind of does. You can end up doing their research a little bit, but sometimes you can end up doing an arrangement without knowing very much at all. That's definitely a thing. But yeah, anyway, E3, what ended up catching your eye? Mention it out in the open here in the Discord, or send a PM to me. So yeah, anyway, I guess with E3 happening, there hadn't been very many conferences happening this time around. Not many of the big names had been around, like EA or Sony or Activision, but we did manage to see some other big guns end up stepping forward and seeing what they have to present to us. So I guess it all ended up starting out with Gearbox presenting a few things, but obviously a lot of it just like blew right over my head, except for like, since when did Borderlands ended up warranting a movie? But yeah, Gearbox ended up sharing a video from their movie sets, which is a little bit of a interesting approach for this one. I mean, I know that Borderlands had a lot of hype going on for all of its games, but how can you transition a comedic shooting game into a movie? Unless you could end up making like a very ridiculous script out of it. So yeah, that's especially over the top. TCB is saying COVID got to E3 more than it did in 2020. You ain't wrong. We've ended up seeing a lot of cutouts for sure just by seeing all of that. But yeah, and 20 also said E3 2021 was as a whole was basically 2021 is filler. We're back in 2022. Sounds like every single year for E3, pandemic or not. You tell me. But yeah, 20 also mentioned, particularly for Microsoft, it let us know that Xbox Game Pass is a thing, and it got us exclusives as well. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I ended up hearing about the Game Pass with a lot of different Sega games ending up added to this one. So that's also considered a thing right there for it. But yeah, we've ended up getting like 9 Bethesda games as well as Doom Eternal getting moved onto there, and I heard that some kind of Yakuza game or several are making their way as well, but it only makes sense for those who ends up having an Xbox to begin with, and if you do, then good luck enjoying your Halos or your realistic races and whatever kind of stuff that Rare is putting up these days. Talking of which, Sea of Thieves has got an in-game crossover now with Pirates of the Caribbean, and let me say, it's about sodding time we've ended up with some kind of other franchise making its way through. Seriously, where's that Escape from Monkey Island collaboration? Or, you know, Monkey Island in general? We need a bit of Guybrush in our lives. But yeah, anyone who's at least played Sea of Thieves would end up vouching on the idea of doing sandbox pirate and bucketeering. So, yeah, I mean, it does feel kind of funky just being able to pace the open waves like this. TCB is saying in the chat, Rexy talking to complete silence in the background unnerves me. And yes, 20 is also saying to him, have you not heard a Radio Redux episode before? Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, trying to adapt to all this. It also feels weird speaking without music, but that is something that I feel absolutely prepared for. Apparently, The Outer Worlds 2 is also getting a sequel, and it's currently in production. This is something I heard quite a bit about, but just by being able to look at the announcement trailer, it also gives me the kind of similar expanse in the open world feel that the original had. It just feels like it feels like Fallout, just with a more desert expanse and a lot more of the spacesuits right there. Like I said, I'm completely out of touch with modern gaming, so I'm just kind of trying to see how it is. But yeah, I'm obviously out of my depth when it comes to Xbox. There's absolutely no way. There's no way I can actually keep on commenting on these things. Square Enix! Oh, yeah. Apparently they ended up getting a big surprise by showing that they've got a Guardians of the Galaxy game in development. But that doesn't exactly make much sense, because I heard that the Square Enix Avengers game ended up falling flat a bit. I'm not quite even too sure what's going on. but yeah, according to Wikipedia, the critical response for the Marvel's Avengers game that Square Enix put out was extremely mixed or average, which makes me question exactly why they're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy game. Probably money? Probably money. That's just what I'm trying to assume from all of this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we did indeed getting a little bit of mobile representation on the Square Enix side. Thanks, Jamie, for bringing that up. I saw some comparison screenshots for Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster and what was originally seen through a SNES CRT TV at the time. I know they're trying to replicate the feel, but it isn't really true pixel if it's just looking at weird sprites that looks like they would end up fitting on a mobile phone. And did we need another remaster of another game that also has a remaster on a phone anyway? I'm absolutely confused about all this. So yeah, that's a thing. Yeah. Fast is saying, I'm gonna say, Jamie's also saying Guardians of the Galaxy game is going down a different route to the Avengers. Well, I mean, if it's the same team, then it makes me wonder exactly what kind of different direction they would end up wanting to go for in the first place. And Frost also said Avengers is a crappy live service, apparently Guardians isn't. I mean, you don't get the major crossovers if you're just focusing on one branch of Marvel in comparison to others, But yeah, I mean, the Guardians are already huge enough as it is, but something that wouldn't exactly carry them on until they end up taking on other different franchises. Gonna say, 20 is saying in regards to remasters, I can't help but buy what they tell me to buy. Sounds like the winning formula for anything to do with Final Fantasy back in the very early 90s right there. Jamie also sent me a PM as well, also relating to Square Enix. What catches my eye at E3 this year? Practically everything at Nintendo's E3 Directs. I will end up making a mention about that much later on. And Jamie also said that he made a thread tweet about it and included to mention Life is Strange game coming. Something you thought would have happened a while back, but Rexy all 3. I mean, I'm aware of Life is Strange because I mean, I'm only really truly aware because of one of the characters ending up going strong on Final Fantasy Spirits Within. Just remembering that from a What Happened episode from Matt McNuckles. I can't say the name. What on earth am I even thinking? Wow. Yeah. Jamie had also mentioned a few other things as well, like the Fatal Frame game, but no, if this the further I go down, it's going to be more and more towards Nintendo-based stuff as well. So I need to end up holding myself back on that one because I'm saving Nintendo for last and for a very, very appropriate reason. So yeah, we definitely need to feel this. So yeah, back on the recap, just to be absolutely sure, if I can just be able to click on the links again, thank you. And yeah, Warner Bros. is a bit of a surprise showing, but all of that ended up going above my head. And the PC Gaming Show had a couple of SEGA-related things with 2 Point Campus and a gameplay video for Tropical Resort Act 2 and Sonic Colors Ultimate. But why the PC Gaming Show? Couldn't they have just squeezed in somewhere else? I mean, is Sonic Colors is Sonic Colors Ultimate even? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is going on the Switch, even the Xbox as well. They could have picked either of those two ideas to end up showcasing their product, but no, they had to go with something a little bit quieter. But yeah, that's something. Oh, goodness sake. Callum is saying Guardians of the Galaxy? More like Guardians of my money when that game comes out. Okay, looks like that's definitely goodness sake, definitely worth the paywall. Okay, I can't really make a silly jest on the side right there. Yeah, PC gaming does make sense for 2 Point Campus because it's like essentially made for the PC. So yeah, a little bit of a a spiritual successing right there for Theme Hospital, and of course continuation of 2 Point Hospital as well. So we've so I see the link right there. But Sonic Colors Ultimate on the PC gaming show still baffles me, and that is so much of an oddity right there. The Capcom side also had some interesting revelations as well by bringing up DLC content for Resident Evil Village, which is something I'm not quite too invested in. A trailer revealed for Monster Hunter Stories 2, which is a franchise I'm still not too invested in, but I know for sure it's got its fan base. But one thing I did notice was that the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which is essentially a couple of prequels for Ace Attorney based in the 19th century, actually is going to get localized for the Switch and PS4 and Steam. So, yeah. I mean, I remember when that got released on the 3DS and people started taking a look at the screenshots and thinking, how are they going to localize that for the English-speaking market? Because it's very clearly looking like 19th century Japan. You can't really change that to what Phoenix Wright has, like trying to change everything to American or anything like that. But I guess Capcom has its ways, and I know that Ace Attorney definitely has its fan base all the way out in the States. I mean, I played the first 2 installments, which is pretty much all it's going to get from me. But what I ended up seeing was like its own dramatic affair among all the puzzle solving and all of that. Jamie is saying, don't mention much of the Great Ace Attorney. I avoided Capcom for that due to spoilers. Yep, fair enough. All I really know about that is that it also brings in Sherlock Holmes, but obviously that name has to get changed because conflict with the estate. So, yeah. Oh, Jamie is saying it's actually, well, I mean, yeah, I'm aware of it being over in London because of the whole of that elementary my dear right thing going on right there. Wow, did it really sound like I suddenly had a mustache on myself? Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about that. But wow, okay. Well, I mean, that's pretty much my perception on those kind of E3. But I'm gonna have to hold off a little bit for the Nintendo side because I would really need to not overlap too much onto time. There's going to be quite a lot of feeling I'm going to be needing with that one, but for now, let's get some more summery kind of tunes going on right there. You'll understand the connection if you understand the meme that follows it. So, yes, go ahead and take it away for is Major Lanik.
Get ready.
On iTunes, Spotify, and Radio Sega, you're listening to Radio Redux.
If anyone is familiar with Radio Sega, Outrun and Afterburner are an intertwined meme together. We like to swap things around. So, sealing things off, I end up bringing in Hal and Kusamoto, giving us the Vocaloid treatment with Mako, Afterburner Nico mix. So, I believe that is part of the Get Ready Vocaloid album, so check it out on this 24/7 stream outside of Showtime. And I got a question from TCB. So, in Radio Redux tradition, are we getting Q&A with Rexy? Yes, we are. That's actually going to happen after the next track that I picked out. So please, if you're going to send in questions for Q&A at UK, Q&A WRexy, then please PM them to me right here in the Discord. If you're not there, radiosec.ga/Discord, then go ahead and do just that. If you're listening through the through elsewhere, but you can't get into the Discord by any other means, then there's Twitter as well, twitter.com/RadioSEGA. But now, yes, you guys have pretty much been waiting for this one. Nintendo's stuff for E3. So, yeah, I've been personally trying to map my feelings on this one for pretty much all week, I would end up saying for that. But, the big thing, there's quite a lot of big things happening on Nintendo's side. The Guardians of the Galaxy game, which we just discussed, is heading to Nintendo Switch. Metroid Dread is going to be a brand new 2D Metroid game to mark the 35th anniversary, so that's a thing. I guess I heard Nintendo ended up teasing people based on that. We've got some additional content from Mario Golf Super Rush, so if you guys want to tee off, you've got that. And we've got a trailer for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, but it's definitely not getting released in 2021, so you're going to have to hold off on that one for now. But the biggest thing that ended up catching my attention more than anything else, and for very obvious reasons, is that we now have Tekken in Smash!
I mean, we kind of already had that anyway because Heihachi had a Mii costume in Smash 4. But this is going, like, completely full on now. So this means music getting added, more content getting added as well. But the character? They chose Kazuya Mishima. Of all characters. I mean, I'm extremely baffled about this pick, to be fair. Now, don't get me wrong right there. I am all in favour of Tekken in another fighting game. I mean, Smash is pretty much right for the taking with all sorts of other different fighters and beat-em-ups for sure. We've already got some representation from Fatal Fury, Punch-Outs, Arms, oh my gosh, and even that Street Fighter, of course, that's another one. And of course, we've also got the boxing minigame from Wii Sports. But yeah, we're kind of overdue some Tekken rep right there because that was inevitable for making its way into different crossovers. We had Heihachi make his appearance in Smash Ripoff, that is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, and Yoshimitsu, I believe, made his way through into Soul Calibur, dealing his blade out with the best of them. So, yeah, I mean, that's really cool. But what baffles me more than ever is this particular question for me. Why did Kazuya, of all characters, make his way into the Smash roster? Now, usually when I end up looking at all this, I tend to think of the most iconic kind of character that would end up making their way right through. And for a fighter and a brawler, you would end up trying to look for the most iconic. Yes, Street Fighter. You look up Street Fighter main character on Google, your first result is obviously Ryu, and he's got the right Echo Fighter as well with Ken because they both had been there since the first game and have continued to end up showcasing their skills ever since. If you look at the main character for Fatal Fury, then yes, that's Terry Bogard. You've got the iconic yellow plaits and all of the variations and all that, the beefy arms, the structure and all of I know obviously very little about Fatal Fury except that it competed with Streets of Rage back in the day, but it's also a thing. Virtua Fighter didn't even get a main character in there, but Akira from that game, another standout character, very appropriately is a spirit character in Smash Ultimate, so we have that as well. Yeah. Jamie is saying boxing minigame from Wii Sports. Don't tell me you're referring to Little Mac and Punch Out. No, I am referring to boxing in Wii Sports with the Miis. Okay. Yeah. Right. Anyway, so yeah, I'm like losing my train of thought right here and all. Yeah, I mentioned main characters. However, when it comes to main character usage in Tekken, I would end up googling that. But Kazuya isn't the first result that ends up popping up. Of course, there's a very good reason why. In the first game, Kazuya did indeed make his appearance among the main roster, and he had the Devil Gene and was able to channel his energy with the Mishima-style karate very well, and taking his way to the win right there. But from Tekken 2 onwards, and even when Jin Kazama got added into the roster in Tekken 3, he would then start to realise that those who end up taking over the Mishima Zaibatsu would end up becoming a whole bunch of heel-face revolving doors. So what would end up being a main character in one game wouldn't be the main character in the next, and so on, and so on, and so on. So yeah, and it's pretty much been like a big waist squabble between Kazuya, Jin, and Heihachi for the leading crown in that particular organization. So any one of those three could have easily been a bigger main character than the others. Now here's the biggest problem. My leak towards Tekken have pretty much been with the PS1 days more than any future generation. And in those in those three games, yes, the first one was a little bit rough with the button mapping on the PS1, but it gives you the revolution of using 4 buttons for each limb. And indeed, Kazuya ended up being the main Mishima fighter there. Then we went on to Tekken 2, where instead of Kazuya, who ended up being the final boss, he swapped roles with Heihachi, and he played very similar. And in that point, the controls were a lot more refined, and the combos were so much easier to end up getting pulled off, and all those extra modes. And then we had Tekken 3, which ended up being a further refinement, and even had the idea to like jump into and out of the foreground to really add in some added strategy. And in that case, Jin Kazama took the Mishima karate style user in the main roster, and it would end up being more evident as you look at all of the cover arts for all of those games. And then we start getting towards the PS2 era, which I didn't really play much of, but I noticed that for for the fourth one, I think it was Kazuya who had the hold up on the cover of 4, and then we had Jin and Kazama for Jin for for 5 and 6, being the poster boy, and then we had the split between Kazuya and Heihachi for 7, which really ends up taking it home. With Kazuya being absent during 3, in fact, even left for dead for 3, it makes me wonder, he's not even as important as a main character in the entire series as Jin ended up being. Also carrying the devil gene and wanting to wish death upon his predecessors, that sort of thing going on. Jamie is right there. Heihachi couldn't exactly get picked because he already had a Mii costume. But didn't Springman already have a Mii costume as well in Smash 4? I actually need a bit more of a reminder on this one right there. But yeah, of all the different Mii costumes, we ended up having, because there's a whole bunch of wigs and all of that. I just ended up being able to note all of this. But I mean, it also doesn't quite exactly make much sense because other playable characters like Karul and Zelda and Captain Falcon and all of that would end up having their own individual wigs and all of that right there. But what about individual costumes? So I mean, I'm a little bit skeptical on all of that and all of that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there has to be at least one Mii costume from Smash 4 that also made its way back into Smash 5 or something like that. Ribbon Girl, that was probably it. TCB. Pretty sure Ribbon Girl ended up making her way into the roster. Or did I mix her up with another ARMS character? Jeez, what is even going on with me? But I'm kind of getting away from the point in this one. Kazuya hadn't been used a lot in the original generation for Tekken. So why is he considered lesser important than even Jin Kazama? Which indeed, when I looked up Tekken main character on Google, Jin is the first result. And rightfully so, he's appeared in every main game since 3, and has appeared in all of his spin-offs except one, and that is that very weird-looking Gallagher game that ended up having quite a few Tekken characters in it. So that's the thing. Oh, it was Midman. Thank you very much, TCB. I knew I got a little bit confused right there. Thanks. But yeah, Kazuya, however, ended up taking the liberty to end up skipping installments because of his for dead status and all of that. So that makes me a bigger question right here. Why is Jin Kazama not even an Echo Fighter? I mean, both he and Kazuya both have the Devil Gene, could end up harnessing Devil's powers at any time, and could still end up dishing out that Mishima-style karate for all it is. This is something I don't exactly quite understand right there. Jin, by default, is the more iconic Tekken character out of the two of them. And that is something that I keep on asking people around here for a lot of the past week or so, but I've never really been able to get a precise answer right there. I know for sure that Sakurai has ended up being able to choose characters who had also appeared on Nintendo platforms, but guess what? Jin did just that, and I have 2 words for you. Tekken Advance. So of course he already has his option right there to make his jump. So, yeah, we have that. But, yeah, I'm getting really ridiculously heated up right there. I'm pretty much slamming my iron fist all the way down with this one. And for whatever reason, Kazuya getting treatments over what ended up being the Tekken poster boy is something that I'm pretty much going to end up really having to jig things up. Jig things up, that's a very unappropriate word. Jig things up for quite some time, and it's making me wonder exactly how things would have been different if you end up approaching Namco and asking for a little bit more true Iron Fist or whatever. But that's something I'm gonna have to end up coping with before I too end up getting slung down by the end of a canyon by the hand of a crippling person with an inner demon inside.
very appropriate for the Tekken segment right there, and bringing in my Reaper's arrangement of Kazuya's theme from Tekken 2, Emotionless Passion, which is part of his Tekken 2 album. I can't even seem to remember exactly what it's called. Tekken 2 Reclamation. Check that out on Apple Music and Spotify and all of those places. However, this is the moment when I'm supposed to transition into Q&A Q&A with Rexy. So I've been asking you just before block number 2, send in whatever kind of questions you end up wanting to ask me about all of this. Trying to shoot the breeze with me for a little while I ended up sealing things out a little bit. But I've been looking in my messaging on Twitter and all of that. I mean on Discord more than anything else, but I hadn't received a dang thing. Jeez, are we all of a sudden getting Winterfest 2017 flashbacks all of a sudden? I have a feeling that would end up being the case, but we'll absolutely see about that. Okay. But yeah, I guess I'm just like flicking back towards the okay, actually got a question from TCP. Do you think we'll end up hearing anything about a Spyro 4 at some point this year? I mean, we've been teased about a new edition for Spyro the Dragon, and repeatedly so through the Crash 4 art book and mentioning about a Project Rainbow or whatever it would end up being. We've also got the collaboration on Crash on the Run, which is still ongoing if you're still playing that like I am. But whether we're going to end up hearing about it, especially considering it's been a good year or so, more like a good 3 years or so since the last Spyro game we ended up having, by that point I mean remasters, remakes or whatever, then I thought it would have actually been possible. COVID, however, has left a lot of things up in the air, and with Toys for Bob also helping out on Warzone, then there's also the possibility of them being a little short-staffed on other projects as well. So all I can really do is just try and believe it with my own eyes and see exactly what would end up happening with that. I am all in favor of more Spyro content. You can trust me on that one. You can absolutely trust me. I was there from the beginning, and I want to be there as the franchise keeps continuing. Jamie is saying, I've just got Crash 4 on Switch. Can't believe Activision finally released it physically in the EU. Hey, which particular date was that, Jamie? Keep me in the loop with this. I remember when Crash Bandicoot 4 got released on the Switch, it started digital only. So there has to be some kind of date for the physical side of things. So, yeah, hit me up with that, dude. Yeah, Crash 4 was an absolute blast to play on the PS4. That's one I would absolutely love to revisit just before the series' 25th anniversary. But it will also be a heck of a slog to end up trying to stream 106% completion over Twitch. Because, it's like lengthy enough as it is. It's like a 48-hour campaign for me. Jamie is saying I got it on Monday, just gone. Oh, there are copies in just that. Cool. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Resident SD is saying apologies for missing the last 15 minutes of the show as I'm out, but I very much enjoyed the first 45 on the way. No worries about it. I heard you were gonna end up making your way towards something very fun and exciting tonight. So, yeah, I got all that going on. Yeah, you actually made me curious now about what else Jamie ended up mentioning in his Twitter chain over the past week. He wrote up Fatal Frame, which I heard was like some kind of crazy spooky photography game. Something he had been extremely curious, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, he also mentioned Advance Wars coming back. Oh yeah, I only ever played the Advance Wars games on the DS, unfortunately, so I'm a little bit behind when it comes to those, but I am all up for wanting to get my commanding itch back on with this. I never played a GBA Advance Wars game before, so this will be pretty exciting about that. And of course, we've got some Super Monkey Ball getting announced as well, thanks to the Sega side. So you pretty much got an idea as to how I'm going to end up closing out the entire show. The Mario and Rabbids side is making me think, yeah, it sounds more like Rayman is getting getting buried further and further 6 feet under, simply because the Rabbids are just way too marketable for something very simple, and all of that. So I guess we got that. I also know very little about Danganronpa as I mean I do know things about Danganronpa storyline-wise. Absolutely, I know how the story goes for those games, and I've seen the first game anime adaptation, but I haven't actually physically played any of the games, but I really, really want to end up doing that. And Jamie mentioned in the Legend of Zelda Game & Watch. I mean, is that really the best that Nintendo can do for Zelda's 35th anniversary? Thought it could have been doing something so much bigger than that. I mean, it feels like it's an afterthought. Oh, Jamie ended up showing off his Crash 4 box for the Switch. Look at me, flashy right there, and I'm having to give my face a good 90 degrees twist to end up seeing the entire thing in its entire glory. I got 2 words for you, Jamie. Portrait mode. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much as much as I would end up being able to squeeze in right there. The Q&A was more like just 2 questions and going off on a tangent on seeing someone else's social media. But before we end up making our way out, I've got 2 more summary tracks to end up finishing things off. I'm going to mention that right here and now. One of them is a very lovely Monkey Ball track that I ended up picking out. Very appropriate because Monkey Ball Banana Mania is making its way to the Switch, so that'll be very lovely to end up airing. Jamie sent me another question, another PM. Have you ever considered releasing your remixes on platforms like Bandcamp? I used to consider releasing original music on platforms like Bandcamp, but the bigger question is whether I would end up being able to make any kind of money from licensing or anything like that. I mean, if you're trying to sell video game remixes, then licensing is a whole other kettle of fish, and then I have to figure out exactly what would end up working for pay what you want. It's just extremely complicated. But yeah, if I'm to release anything on Bandcamp, then I would end up needing to ask somebody as to how the whole thing works, or even put together an entire album or something like that together. I mean, that's the kind of curiosity I need to end up striking up from that one. So, yeah, thanks for the last minute question there, Jamie. But, yeah, as I said, Monkey Ball, finishing things off. I picked out Xenon Odyssey's Beach Holiday to end up sealing off the entire show from the RadioSEGA Collision Theory album. And if we're going to end up acknowledging Monkey Ball and Summer in one fell swoop, it had to be with some lovely chiptune goodness. So, yeah, if you want to catch up with me anytime, then you have the Twitter feed and that is me, Freak Rexy. That's FREQREXY. That is my exact same name over on the Twitch side as well. So, Twitch, if you see me streaming there, then go ahead and see what I'm up to. Jimmy's saying, why is Crash 4 at 12+? And Jamie says, I know it says bad language. Yes, I blame Dingodile for that one. That is your reason. Dingodile is the main dude behind all the bad language in the game. Listen out for it. Anyway, okay, so, yeah, Twitter, Twitch. So what's going to be happening next? The LMC block will end up happening next, and it's a RadioSEGA takeover. Some of those have been playing some Cards Against Humanity, so we're going to be doing that. I'm also going to be using Twitter much later. I'm going to see Twitch much later on. During the VG Beats box that was taken over by I Need Fruits. That's when I would end up doing a Donald Duck going quackers relay race with people in another Discord server. So if you see me in the live streaming channel, no, not the live streaming channel. Do you have access towards the Twitch channel as well? But I guess it looks a bit privatized right now. Yeah, look out for my Twitch anyway for when that goes live. Maybe even watch and enjoy the tunes at the same time. Yeah, you got that. You absolutely got that. Dingodile is a good guy, yet the most vulgar of the crew. Sums him up, TCB. That is Australian language for you, mate. Yeah, crude Australians. Give me the goods and shove off. It's as rude as we will get. Jeez. Anyway, yeah, I will return next week for Sega Pizza Drive and Sonic the Hedgehog's 30th anniversary. And that means triple the remix highlights, as I mentioned in the end bumper for Sega Pizza Drive that happened 2 days ago. So please get your fan arrangement requests in through my Twitter and PM on Discord, as I previously mentioned. So go for it. But for now, enjoy the sunset and the rest of the Summer Shakeup, or whatever stupidly warm or wet weather you've got, and try not to work out about Echo Fighters like I did. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Seriously, Jin should have been there. But either way, I'll be like the genie that I really want to be, I guess. Not quite too sure how to transition out of this one. But yeah, make it a great week. I'll see you in 5 minutes for LMC Cast. And then, other than that, I will end up catching you for Segment Drive next week. And all of that too. So yeah. Yeah, I really should have actually been a lot more on the ball with this, but that is exactly how it is. I'm not used to speaking more than playing music, but Kevin, I hope I did you proud, mate. But yeah, take care.
Can I start over?